Let's get started. This is the regular meeting of the Planning Board of the Township of Franklin on September 17, 2025. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231, adequate notice of this regular meeting of the Planning Board of the Township of Franklin has been provided. If everyone could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you for your patience. Councilman Embarrasson, Jennifer Rango, Mahir Rafiq, and I believe Mark Dancy. I saw an email come in. I believe they've asked to be excused this evening. Theodore Chase.
Here.
Robert LaCourte.
Here.
Shaw Keller.
Here.
Charles Brown.
Here.
Robert Thomas.
Here.
Oh, that's right. And Chairman Orsini.
Here. Before we get too far into the agenda, let me tell you what won't be heard tonight is Onyx 789 LLC. We do not have a new date for that, and they will have to notify in any event. So, TBD. So we have no minutes. We have a resolution. So the Catalent Pharma Minor Sub LLC. I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
Mr. LaCourte, you can. It's just Robert Thomas and Mike.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's because it was a minor sub.
Yep.
Sorry, Bob.
Second.
Okay, Robert Thomas.
Yes.
Chairman Orsini.
Yes. No discussion items. So I'll make a motion to open to the public for any general planning comments. If you're here for Temple Bethel, I will open the meeting again during that hearing for any specific comments on that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any general planning comments not related to Temple Bethel? Seeing no takers, move to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Temple Bethel of Somerset, PLN 25-00004. Just a couple of prelude words before I turn it over to Peter. It's a minor sub. It's fully compliant. So normally it would be heard by the minor subdivision committee, and we would give a report, and then we would handle it the way we just handled Catalent. The difference tonight is it is a house of worship, which is a conditional use in the zone, and there's also a buffering that's needed because of the subdivision being proposed, and there's an easement which means no buffering in the easement, and so we're going to we decided to bring it before the full board. Was that wordy enough for Pete? Because he's laughing over there. I don't mean you Pete. I mean not Pete.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Peter Lanford appearing on behalf of the applicant. You stole all my thunder. There's no need for me to say anything at this juncture. I'm sure you don't want me to say anything anyway. So I would like to call Mr. Ardman, have him sworn in, just to explain why we are here and what the buffer issue is.
Do you swear the testimony you're going to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
If you could state your name, spell your last name, and give us your address for the record, please.
Certainly. First initial F, Mitchell Ardman, A-R-D-M-A-N, principal of the Reynolds Group, licensed professional engineer and planner, have testified a few times before this board.
Yeah, Mitch, everything is certified as usual.
Yes, I am.
And you were accepted because you've been
Outstanding.
here many times.
Thank you, Mr. Orsini.
Mr. Ardman, can you just briefly indicate to the board why we are here and how we have dealt with the issue that arose as a result of this application?
Certainly. Very briefly on this plan, this is our plan minor subdivision M1. It just has color on the property lines, the same one that's in your set, and it's revision 7925. The Temple Bethel building is in the front here along Hamilton Street, and its lot is the red line as we have around. There's a second property on Heather Drive where there's an existing single-family residence. And what's going to happen is a piece of property from each of those lots is going to be cut off to form this new lot that we are proposing, which is a fully compliant lot. After the subdivision, this is the R20 zone. Each of these lots will be fully compliant with size, setbacks, and all the bulk requirements that we're proposing. That proposed lot is 10.02. So as you heard, typically it would go to the subcommission meeting. Since this is a house of worship property, buffer requirements per your ordinance kick in. And so in meeting with staff and reviewing the application, we don't need to buffer other adjoining properties because the temple has been here over 50 years, is pre-existing, but we do need a buffer for the new lot. So that would be in the locations I'm showing on the plan here, which are to the rear of the temple and what would be the backyard of the new lot 10.02. So we are providing a buffer in that area. And again, the other quirk is that there's both a water and sanitary sewer easement which cut through that area. So we are not going to be able to put buffers right over that easement area. But we are proposing, and I have the second exhibit that I'm putting up here. This is the color version of our sheet S3, tree removal and replacement plan. And that's also revision 7925. I'll blow this up just a little bit, and we'll get to the heart of the matter. So here you can see, once again, that new common property line.
Can you move the mic a little closer?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. That's better. Okay. So here we have the new, what will be a proposed common property line. Once again, here is the easement that cuts through the property. And we are providing the buffer. So and your ordinance requires a combination of evergreens and/or a fence or both in certain circumstances. So in this location, we have dual rows of pine trees shown. As we come up this property line here, we have dual rows of evergreen shrubs. In both those locations, we have also added a solid 6-foot-high wooden fence. So between those, we believe we cover this section. On top of that, just to kind of have a backup, we've added 3 shade trees along this area. There's actually a sidewalk which goes from the house or the properties behind on Heather. Formerly, during busier when more of the congregants were in the area, they would walk across from the neighborhood and into the site from that area. Right now, that's just the rabbi's house, so he would walk up that sidewalk, come through to the property. So just a little background, but that's well buffered in that area. The second location is on the right side of the plan, which we're showing here, this section of the property line, and that's actually a fairly wooded area. And we specifically went out there, located the mature trees in that area, so one, we made sure we worked around them, they'd be saved, and then we're providing plantings in the gaps in that area. So we're providing, again, a stacked row here of evergreens, which will provide a buffer, along once again with a solid wooden fence, and then another behind the row of existing shade trees there. We're putting another row of evergreens in that location. So with all that, again, with the fence, evergreens, and other rows, we believe we meet the intent of the ordinance for providing the buffer on the property.
How many trees would you have to remove for the building envelope of the proposed dwelling on that lot, Mitch? Roughly.
Yeah, so we have that, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 or 7. Mm-hmm. And we have provided, if it went, so this lot will be sold off to a future home builder, and at that time, there will be the required tree replacement will be a requirement of the builder of the house per the township standards.
Okay. And Mark, you concur with that? So they subdivide this, they sell the lot or whatever, and when does the buffering actually happen?
Well, what the staff, as far as the buffering that's shown on this plan right now, staff does made a few recommendations for conditions of approval if the board was inclined. One is that the buffering and the fence be either installed or bonded prior to the subdivision. Because obviously, once it's subdivided, they can sell it off to somebody else. So there needs to be some assurance that it'll happen. The plot plan submitted for construction would need to have the tree preservation that's reflected on this plan. And then we're recommending a 2-year maintenance bond. So those are recommended. And then Mitch is correct that in addition to that, when somebody submits for a building permit for this lot, they would have to address the tree ordinance as well. So there might actually be some additional trees that have to be added by that builder. And just since I have the mic, again, I just wanted to summarize real quickly what's already been said, which is, as the chairman said, so this application, in effect, the one thing that's happening here is subdividing off the portion of their property that backs up onto Heather Drive to propose a new home. That new lot is fully conforming. So again, ordinarily, it would not be going to this board with a hearing. It would be done by the minor subdivision committee. Public wouldn't be notified because it's a fully compliant application. There's this kind of wrinkle here that this is a conditional use. And when you have a conditional use, when there's a change, and this change happens to be this new lot line, they have to meet the conditional use standards for the house of worship, basically at that new property line. Further, why this is here, again, just to summarize kind of what your decision for tonight is really, in my opinion, the ordinance it indicates that you have to have a double staggered row with a 6-foot-high fence along the perimeter of a house of worship. They can't provide that full buffer because of this small gap that's created by the easement. So Mitch's firm has did a few rounds of review where we went back and forth with staff to kind of provide what we thought was the equivalent. So they basically mitigated for that gap by one, again, as Mitch said, by preserving the trees on either side of the new property line and by adding additional trees, above and beyond that double staggered row. So it's the opinion of staff that what's presented on here is more than equivalent to the minimal standard of the fence with the double staggered row.
And having read Mark's report, do you agree to all that?
We do agree. There was a TRC report dated August 22nd, 2025, and it had some proposed conditions to the approval if the board were to grant it, and we are in accord with those conditions.
Do you have your DNR Canal approval? I didn't even read that because I don't pay too much attention because they do what they do, and you have to comply whether whatever we do, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll actually have a waiver for them on this because
Okay.
it was just for the lot line for this submission.
And I don't believe the Environmental Commission report added anything more than really what was in Mark's.
Yeah, and I'd like to address that.
Go ahead.
There were two recommendations. One is the feasibility of solar panels on the roof, and the other is an EV charging station. The reason, well, first of all, nothing is changing with respect to the temple. The building is not changing, parking lot's not changing, the temple is remaining the same. This was basically an outlier piece of the property that they're creating the building lot. The reason they're creating the building lot is to raise funds because of the shrinking population. They need the money to operate. We would request that we not be required to comply with the Environmental Commission recommendations. If in the future we come back for some work on the temple, maybe those recommendations are appropriate and necessary. But since we are not touching the temple, we would request that we not be required to do what the Environmental Commission recommended, both because we're not touching the temple, and second, because of the economic hardship that the temple has that we're trying to resolve.
They're just recommendations, Peter. We didn't expect you to comply, but I do think that a charging station would be a good thing for your parking lot.
I think it's something that maybe they can look at as they go forward. but with their dwindling population and you know, you hate to say it, but it's an elderly population. Most of them don't have the electric vehicles that need to be charged, and they're only there, you know, for a short time. That parking lot is empty 95% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the subdivision lot that we're actually really hearing, it's a single-family house. They can do what they want. I mean, it'd be who knows whether they'll have an electric vehicle, and you know whether they put solar panels on their house or not is a personal decision. I agree with Ted, though. I mean, if the temple could put in a EV charging, but I wouldn't hold them to it. You know, if they do anything in the future, like you say, maybe so. And certainly the solar panels, I wouldn't hold you. That'd be all good, but I mean, you know. I don't think it's something that I would hill to die on, so to speak. The other thing that I would ask, since you are bonding for the trees for 2 years, and I notice you're preserving a fair amount of trees, I think the board will probably be familiar with a number of applications we've had in the past when I was chair of Shade Tree, when we had the old Ruffles, which is now the Wells Fargo, and there was a huge oak there, or some tree, historic. We determined it was like 200 years old or something. Preserve it. Well, of course, they did, but within a year or two, it had to be taken down because, you know, there was disturbance in the root zone, and anybody who's seen tornado damage knows that roots don't really go that deep. Same thing for Victory Subaru, all right? Historic and kind of a significant weeping birch or something like that in the middle. They did their whole car lot around this weeping birch. 2 years later, gone. So what I would ask is that you would agree that any trees that are to be preserved and then die within those 2 years, that you would replace them somewhere in the buffer, or use Chapter 222 or whatever to donate to the Shade Tree Commission or enhance the buffer on site, because I do know that tends to happen despite everybody's best intent. But since you've got a bond for the trees that are existing, I think 2 years is fair. You'll be able to tell whether they're declining in that time.
I have sitting next to me a representative of the temple, and he said he is in accord with your request.
Excellent. Board have any questions?
Just, Mitch, the rest of the TRC report, can you comply with all of the technical comments?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
I'm trying to figure out on the plan which of the holly and which of the spruce. And it's spruce, not white pine, because if it were white pine, I would be telling you don't do that, the lower branches die off. But
Agreed.
You know better.
Yeah.
They're actually spruce.
Yeah, so we have, yeah, they're Norway spruce there, and those are the ones labeled PA. And so they are, oh, do we have the PA or are they the PA?
Right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the ones on the rear property line of the new lot.
here we go. Yes. So those are the Norway spruce, and we've had good luck with those, and I agree that those stay, their limbs stay better. And again, this was our landscape architect went through this with Mark, so we do trust his judgment on these.
I'm looking for the PA. I'm not finding
So
it.
you see on this screen here, if you want to look on the big screen, I'm
Oh,
circled.
up there.
You see the PA,
I see PS, I see VR.
you see this
Okay, PA there, yeah.
there, so
Okay.
that's that double row.
Kind of close together.
They're shown, they are pretty close. The ordinance, I think, says 10 feet. They are shown as they grow out. We tend to show their full size, so, we wanted to make sure we met the buffer. If you're inclined to take one or two off, I don't think my client would object, but
What are these spaced? You said 10 feet?
I believe so.
It should be okay. Are they staggered 10 feet or like 10 feet literally in a row?
Yeah.
If they're staggered 10
yeah.
feet, they should be fine.
Yeah, they're staggered.
Yeah, probably. Holly can be closer.
I mean, there's one application I remember that Peter did. It's dating me, right? Remember the Rue Chagall and all that development in there off of, and remember that buffer? And you presented the buffer and you said, you're not going to be able to see anything. I'm like, Peter doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, if you go past
Say that on every application.
yeah, no. If you go past that today, it really did exactly that. It really buffered. But I mean, it's close. It's just that close. But it's
right.
a mix of oak and pine, and you cannot see those houses. And they mow every now and then, I think. All right, so we do have to open to the public. So with that, I make a motion to open.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I'm pretty sure that if you come to the microphone, just give us your name and address.
Mitch, can you just give him yours? I didn't turn it on because I was in here late. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Robert Baltrup. I live at 15 Heather Drive, so right across the proposed lot that you guys are building on. And I guess some of our questions, my wife and I, Diane, she's there. I don't know if it pertains to this board or not. So it sounds like the church, the temple, is selling the lot to just another builder. It's not going to be part of the temple or anything of that nature. So as far as who's, like whatever that single family home that is used for, it will just still be residential purposes and things of that nature?
That is correct. The house next to it is occupied by the rabbi, and that will continue to remain occupied by the rabbi. But this will be sold to somebody who wants to build a house there.
Okay, like Tolman Brothers or whoever it is.
Or
Maybe.
it could be an individual.
Okay.
Basically, you'll have a new neighbor.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to make sure.
But it'll be a single-family residential home. Can't be anything else.
Okay. And as far as, I guess that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Diane, anything from you? No? Okay.
You don't have a buyer.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the idea is to, perfect the subdivision and then find a buyer for it. I don't think the temple's going to build the house and sell it. They're going to sell it to somebody who's going to build it de novo. Right.
Yeah, we have no plans to develop the land. We're just going to sell the plot. Oh, I wasn't sworn.
Peter can say.
Peter, why don't you say the same thing? Just say it's your understanding they have no plans to sell the property. Just to,
You're correct, Mr. Vignolo.
there we go. It's easier that way.
All right, so with that, I make a motion to close the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we'll vote. I'll make a motion that we approve with the conditions in Mark's report and the additional condition about the trees to be preserved lasting 2 years and all compliance with everything in Mark's report. And I guess that's it.
That was a motion.
Yeah, that was a motion, believe it or not. No. Charles seconds.
Yeah.
Okay. Theodore Chase?
Yes.
Robert LaCourte?
Yes.
Shaw Keller?
Yes.
Charles Brown?
Yes.
Robert Thomas?
Yes.
Chairman Orsini?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Anything else tonight, Christine or Mark?
Nope.
All right. Our next meeting is when? October something, right?
The next meeting is October 8th. There's 2 matters on the agenda.
Okay. Enjoy the rest of September and make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Less than half an hour.